Welcome back to Travel Again Insights, a weekly look at what matters most to our amazing industry. Ed, here we are again, another week, busy week.
Another week, Mike. Nice to see you. A lot of news, as always. How about we dive right in?
Okay.
First article is one of my favorite of the week. It's about a no prescription rapid COVID-19 home test to be sold at CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart here in the US. I think this is a big step forward. Mike, what do you think?
Oh, I think it is too. I mean, we've been talking about this since the beginnings of Travel Again last year, how, having low cost, highly available testing is critical. And a good solution for, and really a key part of the formula. Just because people are getting vaccinated doesn't mean that the need for testing goes away, and making that testing affordable, accessible, easy to use, it lowers the just anxiety about it. It's like I don't have to go through a whole process to get a test. I can easily, safely just get a test, get my results, and know what I'm dealing with. And particularly as more people become vaccinated, but then you have children who aren't, and dependents, or there's still an unvaccinated community out there. Just again, it's you want to know, and again, making that cheap and easy is great. So good news, good to see. That step. It's another step forward in the process.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Our next article is about masks and how long will masks be required on planes. Flight attendants want the mandate to be extended. What's your take?
Yeah, so we have this kind of just point in time, May 11th, when the policy is up for review, and our hope will certainly be that it will be extended. It's fine if we again wanted to do an extension of another period, so it can be reviewed again. I think ongoing review is important because we want our policies to reflect the need, right? But I would say the need right now is still strong to have people, wearing masks on planes, being respectful. You're still in close quarters, even though, again, so much work has been done by the airlines to make the flying experience safe. Still, why not, right? It's a small price to pay for, that extra level of comfort, even if you're vaccinated. And I think it's easier, again, to, I'm sure flight attendants wholeheartedly agree. I mean, for them to try to distinguish who and who isn't, and who should be wearing a mask and who shouldn't, it's like no one wants to be in that position, nor should they be as the frontline staff. It's really important that they have the ability to just have a clear, uniform approach for all travelers, all passengers on an airplane, particularly. And I think in general, like we've said all along, get vaccinated, protect yourself, follow the protocol, continue to use masks and all the other things you do just to protect each other. And it's just good, being a good citizen, being a good traveler out there. Why not, right? And so hopefully they'll extend it and then review it again at some point down the road, maybe towards the end of the year.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Our next article is about Canadians crossing the border in taxis to avoid hotel quarantine for air travelers. So put this into perspective and context for us, Mike.
Well, so this is always hard when you have, certainly in this case, neighboring countries who have very disparate policies right now, different conditions, and in terms of the level of vaccination, and where and how quarantines are being used. You see why people go to lengths to, basically avoid something like this, right? The cost, the inconvenience, et cetera. And I'm sure for people who are getting vaccinated and then now are saying, look, I need to resume cross-border travel, they look at this as like, this is absurd. But it's also a problem and problematic, certainly for travel, but just in general, that people feel the need to go to these lengths rather than having policy that actually allows for what would be logical kind of outcomes now that people are getting vaccinated. But like we've said all along, quarantines are effective initially in an outbreak of any kind, because you're trying to get a sense of understand what it is that you're dealing with from a disease perspective, how far it's gone. You're trying to contain and control for a period of time. but as many studies have been done, that becomes ineffective after a period of time. So I think we're in the ineffective part of the quarantining. And so, we've made recommendations about how to deal with quarantines, and how to basically, we're really pushing hard to get our policymakers and health officials to really embrace this and look for ways to wind back, use of quarantines. Now, again, all this is unprecedented in terms of what we've been going through, and we still have to do as part of our recovery. So this is it's not a finger pointing exercise. It's not a blame game exercise. This is just, but we need to keep, modifying these policies so that, things like that don't have to happen. And when you see that, it's more of just a signal of like, we have a problem here. We have a disparate policy that needs to be dealt with, and I think that's exactly what's happening. So hopefully, again, we'll get both governments talking, collaborating, and finding ways to resolve this.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Our last article of the day is a battle of the seas. Cruise lines versus the CDC. And baked in here is actually some very good news about travel domestically here picking up in a dramatic fashion in almost all sectors except for cruise. So tell us what this means and what do we need to do about it?
Yeah, so you see like where, as we, forecast and thought that we would see a return initially to, leisure travel, kind of simple leisure travel rebounding in somewhat the quickest. And you see that with American and Southwest quarterly earnings and numbers and forecasts. Southwest is saying, I believe, that they feel they will be, back to cash positive over the summer, or at least forecasting at this rate they will be. They're kind of leading indicator in terms of the profile of their customers and their business overall at Southwest and the routes they fly. I mean, they are domestic, they skew leisure. They would be the leading indicator, right? So that leading indicator is coming, and that's good. So that's a good sign. But on the complete other end of the spectrum is, of course, the cruise lines, who are, in a position now where they continue to be basically, dry docked here in the U.S. and which the U.S. is a huge cruise market, right? And the demand is there. I mean, people are lining up and would to get back on ships again, and so the guidelines have been set, and it feels, I mean, to me, it looks like we are in a position where cruise lines have done everything possible to meet those requirements, and yet still they can't cruise. So I think at some point, in the near future, and given the time of planning that they have to have for, going into the next cruise season and the next, right, they're going to have to create at some point, under certain conditions in terms of, ports and, and conditions on the cruise ship itself. I mean, they're going to have to open up again, and there will be risk. But I think the companies involved, the brands involved, are going through every possible way to meet those criteria and make it safe to cruise again. And I just, I think we're hopefully getting to a point soon where there will be a revision of that policy and ability to legitimately start again. And it is happening in other parts of the world, and it's being done safely. It's time, and again, with some notice and some time for planning and booking, and again, and maybe and clearly phased in, because you want to see success and then build on it. But I think we're getting near that time. Hopefully soon.
Okay. Hopeful for the cruise line industry, and very excited to see domestic travel picking up quite as much as it is. That's very good news. That's the news for the week, Mike.
Hey, one more thing before we go. As of today, I got my second Pfizer shot, so I'm on the 2-week countdown to full activation, so I can get back out on the road again. So I'm excited about that. And if you haven't been vaccinated, do so. If you're one shot into a 2-shot process, don't delay. First opportunity, close it out, finish it up, because we have here. We've been reading all the reports too that Unfortunately, people are missing that second appointment, not thinking it's necessary. It is. Just follow all the guidelines. It's really simple. See it through. We got to get to herd immunity, and we got to get people out about and safely again. And so just do it and do this with everybody get vaccinated, right? So anyway, I'm happy. I'm glad to have my second shot done and be counting down the days.
Congratulations, Mike, and we will see you out on the road. Thanks, everybody. That's it for the week. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.